Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today. It's week 3 of the 12 weeks of Halloween. Okay, so I'm using the Stitch Seasons framelits. Today is the last day to get these, August 31st, 2018. I might have to buy a couple extra to have on hand. We are using the small one this time. You guys have seen me make projects using the other sizes, so today we are using the smallest one. The supplies are basic black cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 3. That's for the box on the inside here. And then we just have another scrap piece that's going to cut out these framelit pieces. Granny Apple Green for our scallop circle, and then Whisper White for our greeting and the cat there. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is go ahead and score the box. So let me get the Simply Scored scoring tool. Okay, so I'm going to place it on the landscape side, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, and then I'm going to turn it on the portrait side, which is the 3-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Okay, so now I'm going to take the box and fold it on the score lines. I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut up to the score line on each of these score lines. Down here on this skinny side, I'm going to remove that section right there. And on these tabs, I'm going to trim them just a tad, okay? That just makes assembling this a little bit easier. Now this end right here, I'm just going to give that a slight angle cut. I'm going to use my silicone craft sheet. I'm not sure if that's even the proper term for it. And I'm going to use my tear and tape. Well, I'm a little crooked there. It'll be okay. It's such a small piece. So then I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of trim off that extra. When you get adhesive on your scissors, you can peel it off as quickly as possible and then use like a little alcohol pad to clean it up. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper piercer. And then I'm going to fold this over just like that. So this is the back of my box. This is going to be the front of my box, or the bottom of the front, I should say. So I'm just going to take a couple pieces of tear and tape. Okay. Now the box is assembled. Making sure that it's sealed. Okay, so now let's get the Big Shot. You know what, actually let's do some stamping. That way we only have to get the Big Shot out once. So we're gonna take, let me show you the stamp sets. Spooky Sweets, Cauldron Bubble. Both will be available September 5th. So I'm using the No Tricks, Just Treats, and then I'm using the cat. I love the cat. What can I say? So I'm stamping her with Memento ink because we're going to be coloring her with the Stampin' Blends. And then I'm going to take the Stampin' Right markers and color the No Trick, whatever it says, Just Treats. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green, and again, these are the Stampin' Right markers. So we're using both markers today, the Stampin' Blends and the Stampin' Right. That's a question that gets asked often is, can you just have one, the Stampin' Right or the Stampin' Blends? They serve two different purposes. So you kind of do want both. Okay. Now we've got the Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to use the smaller tip for the ears. And which one is this? This is the light. My inspiration sheet on my website will have all the supplies listed as well as the item numbers and measurements. And then I'm using Smoky Slate. And as I'm going over this, I'm like, did I say the right colors of the Stampin' Right markers? Basic Black and Granny Apple Green. Hopefully I did. Okay, we're done coloring. So we're going to take the stitch shaped framelets and we're going to cut out the greeting. We're going to take the coordinating cauldron framelets that matches with that stamp set. We're going to cut out a scallop circle using the stitched, or not the stitched, the layering circles framelets. And then we're going to cut out the box, the front of the box, with the stitch season. So we're cutting out 5 pieces with the Big Shot, okay? So here's the Big Shot, magnetic platform and cutting pad. And we will start here. And let's see if we can get this to line up. Someone asked the other day if they could cut multiple pieces at the same time on the Big Shot. You can, as long as they don't attract each other. Sometimes when you get 2 on here, they want to attract to each other. So if you can make it happen, absolutely save some time. So there's that one. And then here's our cat. We'll set those aside. And then now to cut this one, what you're going to do is you're going to line up the edge just like that, okay? So I'm going to place it on here, and I want it to just be right at the edge, okay? And we need 2 of these. I wish I had another month to play with these framelets. I've absolutely loved them. So now we're doing the second one. Uh-oh, and you know what? This piece of cardstock, let me turn it this way. There we go. There's the next one. And our last piece is we want to cut out our scallop circle. Okay, so at the top of the video, I did leave out one piece of basic black cardstock, and that's because you need a 1.5 inch circle behind the greeting there. So I'll make sure that the inspiration sheet has that. So what I'm going to do now is take my snail and add the greeting to the basic black, and then same thing to the Granny Apple Green. Now let's go ahead and assemble the fronts. Well, you know what I like to do is I actually want to add the ribbon first before I add it to the box. That way it's a little bit easier to tie. So take your 1/8 circle punch and Granny Apple Green. And then I'm going to take some white baker's twine. And I'm going to tie a bow. Now see, this is where I mean that it's easier to go ahead and add the ribbon, because otherwise I could squish my box when I'm tying this little bow. It can be done, but it is easier to do this after the fact. Now, those that are on my newsletter, that subscribe to my newsletter, I am sending a Christmas version out this afternoon that's exclusive to them. It's the same box, but using Christmas stuff. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, I'm just cleaning these up. Whoops. Okay, now we're going to add our tear and tape to the box. Just one on each side. So these will hold those little snack size candies. The box measures just a little over 2 inches, barely over 2 inches, okay? So those little snack size candy bars will fit in here. Oh, while we're at it, head over to my website, leave a comment to enter to win. You're going to get a chick stand. I'm going to draw one winner, and it's in one of our new Santa sacks that's going to be available on September 5th, okay? So I'm going to peel off the backing of the tear and tape, and then we're going to add this one. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to add the box flush with the bottom and trying to make sure that it's equal distance on both sides. It looks like I did a pretty good job on that one. The more challenging one, of course, is the back side. Okay, so same thing. We're just going to peel the backing off. And again, I'm going to turn it over and line it up. I want to make sure I'm adding it to the right side. It's kind of hard to tell. I think I actually did it backwards on the other one. It's okay if you do. They both look pretty good. Some framelits, the back side doesn't look that great, but for this one, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's see how it looks. Really cute, right? Okay, so this is going to go right in the middle with a Stampin' Dimensional. And then we're going to take the mini dimensionals and we're going to add one to the bottom of the cat. Okay. So right there. And then we want her so that she's, you know, right smack dab in the middle of the greeting. And you could put a glue dot behind her head if you want to make sure she doesn't come back up. You know what I mean? Okay, so here's my original. Here's the one we just made. Pretty cute, right? Okay, have a great day. Thanks a lot.